to you. Just because there's non-belief in God, that doesn't mean God disappeared. God goes away all of a sudden. And also just because you haven't seen certain evidence that you like, that doesn't mean that God doesn't exist. Those kind of illogicalness in atheism actually make others look down upon you. So if you want to be logical, if you want to be trolling with logic, be specific. Get an example. If you disagree with certain people, tell them exactly what you disagree, not just generalize the whole thing. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Thickshades. Good to speak to you.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
Okay. I just realised just in his last statement there is that he seems to be of the idea that we don't believe God exists, therefore God doesn't exist, as in we justify our non-belief in God. We seem to think God doesn't exist because we disbelieve in him.
Yeah.
Our belief affects reality in what actually happens, and I regret that I didn't cop it on sooner. I had my granddad's 90th yesterday. He may have something to do with that.
I mean, I was trying to get onto that point, but I think he was misunderstanding what I was trying to say to him. But I know what you mean. I think that was how he perceives atheism or atheists to be, unfortunately.
And that could be just a little insight into maybe his own logic.
The free will argument. Sorry, Kitch, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ramble. So go on.
Well, I was saying that the free will argument is complete bullshit. I hear that all the time. I'm like, well, why I asked Christians, like, well, why didn't God just make us love him for that reason? I mean, why instead of just but they say, well, because he didn't want us to be slaves. He wanted us to choose to love him. I'm like, okay, so he gave us free will. So your options are either to love him or spend eternity in hell. You are still a slave, no matter what.
Can
I mean, it's a better choice, is it?
I was going to say, I made that argument to Warrior Christian 2 weeks ago, and even though he disagreed to a particular degree, that's exactly my point. My point was actually that it is physically possible for anybody to do anything against the will of God, because if anything at all could work against the will of God, he doesn't become omnipotent. He loses that trait. So that's what I use.
Yeah, well, omnipotence is a bit of a problem anyway, so...
Yeah, it always was.
We've all heard the one about the rock that's so big that he can't lift it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I tried playing around a little with that one, and I came up with this one. Can God think of a thing he can't do?
Ooh, very nice.
That's an interesting turn. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But I just want to just one thing on the free will. It kind of shows a little bit something about this God's priorities. He said instead of making us love him and we'd live forever and happy land, whatever, he chose to have this free will where we can end up in hell. So so if you look at it this way, like he thinks free will and hell would be better than just everyone living happily. Well, maybe it's just this God's mysteriousness, if that makes sense.
It makes no sense, so it's probably right.
Why is it always either heaven or hell? Why can't there be a middle ground for people who have not been so bad like that?
So that I think that's purgatory for the Catholics. I may be completely wrong on that.
Yeah, that's for Catholics, and that's something that I don't really understand the foundation for. I mean, it doesn't come from the Bible or anything.
What's that? Purgatory?
Yeah.
The main idea
I think that was something the Catholics just made up sometime during the Dark Ages or something.
Yeah, the main idea between purgatory is that it's a replacement for hell, in that nobody ever actually goes to hell and stays there indefinitely, but just every sin that you have amounts up, and that you spend a specific amount of time in a hell-like place, i.e. purgatory, until you're cleansed in the fire of purgatory to go into heaven. So,
Right.
I love
that's the main
how
idea.
I love how the people who the people who are fastest to dismiss Christians as not really being Christian are other Christians. Like, even, they're like, oh, those Catholics, they're not really Christian. It's just so funny to me. And they claim to be they claim to be they claim to believe what they do, and they say all these things. They claim to be the biggest religion on the planet, and they say, oh, but we're still oppressed. Well, they're not really the biggest religion if you take out the Catholics. So they need to stop lying, or accept the Catholics as Christians, either one.
I know, they're over
but it's not just the Catholics that the fundies are dismissing. They're dismissing the Orthodox Church as well.
Yeah.
And most Protestants as well. So it's a religion of what? How many? 100 nuts on YouTube.
There's one or two in it.
And one guy in a jail somewhere in Florida. That's basically it.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
That's not the biggest religion. Let's just put it that way.
Is Pink Unicorn a troll, or is he fucking serious?
Oh, no, he's just reiterating what Thingy was saying. But is Warrior Christian coming in?
Yeah, I saw him in the chat. He should be there somewhere.
Yeah, go on, get Warrior Christian in, because he was fun.
Nephilim Free is the last of the Christians.
I am legend. It's like the I am legend.
I'll stop.
No sign of E-questions, yeah?
That should be his theme tune to his
what happened to Eye to Eye? Did he get radiation poisoning or something?
No, he's all right. He lives closer to the Tokyo area, but he's all right with it as far as
that's terrible of me to say.
Yes.
Bold.
Bold.
I'm an atheist. I don't have any morals or sense of dignity, so whatever.
Oh my god.
No, after the earthquake and that, I booked a flight out to Japan. I've got another one going in July as well. So, but everything's quite all right over there. They've still got the main area, but the rest of it's just carrying on as normal.
Yeah. Huh.
But I would like to see Eye to Eye get back onto YouTube now.
I thought. Oh, thanks, Dan. So very much. Oh. Hello.
Is he in?
Oh. Hello?
No, I don't see him. He's not on the... there he is.
Ah, there he is, yeah.
Hello, Warrior Christian. Can you hear us? Are you in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Excellent.
So, Warrior Christian, what's your opinion on Thickshades? Let's just start with that one, I think.
My opinion on what, sorry?
Thickshades is in the person that we had in here earlier.
That was a train wreck.
I noticed in the chat the one that was most vocal against him wasn't even the atheist, it was actually just you.
So, yeah, but you find that with, people like Nephilim Free as well, that a lot of people that would be just against him would be Christian because they make the faith just look ridiculous.
Oh, no.
I mean, really ridiculous.
Well, he just continued shouting and not staying on topic. I mean, I really wish he'd sort of pinned him on when he said it's illogical to be an atheist, I really wish he'd pinned him down on that and asked him, do you think it's illogical to not believe in aliens if you have never been abducted? And if he'd said no, then you'd say, okay, so then why do you think it's illogical to be an atheist when you haven't encountered, by his own admission, you could never encounter this spirit unless you actually did some work.
Yeah, I think we tried to go into that, but as you're saying, it was just not staying on topic. Like, it was on one point of the soul, then he moved on to angels and back onto the soul again, and it just went. I was like, weren't we talking about your evidence?
Maybe we could have caught him on that one the third or fourth time he went through this circle.
True, but there was just
It
so
basically
much
felt
being
like
thrown at
the
us.
whole discussion went in circles.
Well, that's because circular reasoning works, because circular reasoning works,
Yeah.
because circular reasoning works ad infinitum.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why does circular reasoning work?
Because circular reasoning works.
Yeah, exactly. And why is that?
The thing is,
Because
circular reasoning is
we're
that you can apply it for anything.
Yeah.
My main point on what does and doesn't exist and why we become where basically atheists are what we believe doesn't exist is that anything any human could ever think about could exist. It's a matter of proving that it does before you can prove that it doesn't. So I mean, I can think of I don't know, to use one of I think it was Aaron Ra's examples about the massive dinosaur that was like roaming around. He may think it exists and it could exist, but you need to prove that it does first. You can't just prove that it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nugent, who are you talking about? Who's getting pwned?
Oh, I should be.
Maybe he's on a massive delay.
I don't know. I think so. I've been having problems with Blog TV.
Yeah.
Or maybe he thinks I'm getting pwned, which would be interesting because we haven't really gotten into debating yet.
Yeah, so what do you want to debate about, Warrior Christian? I'm interested.
We can try and pick it up from last week. I was a bit stumped last week because you were saying, why should I bother even, attempting to reach out if I think that everything is set in stone?
Ah, yeah. That was my point, because I really do like my argument that I have for that about free will and that sort of thing, because I do think it puts a massive hole into what is and isn't good in the eyes of God.